Welcome to the show, everybody. Happy Thursday. Merry Christmas. Christmas is around the corner. This is probably the final episode I am doing here before Christmas. We are talking starts and sits fantasy football week 16. Going to dive into the optimal plays at each position, the guys that have optimal matchups, the guys that suck at each position based on matchups, but also give you guys my opinion who I think you should start on certain players, because I know a lot of people are torn on this player or that player. I'm going to give you guys my critique, again, at every position. It's also going to help you with your DraftKings and FanDuel lineups. I wanted to do it all in one show right here, right now. Okay, guys? So let's rip into this. Let's dive into this. I know it's a championship week for a lot of people. I want to help as many people as I can get the information to you guys here in this compact episode packed with information. Now, there is a giveaway, guys, this weekend, an Austin Ekeler signed helmet. Okay, speed helmet. Check it out, guys, on my Instagram. But to enter, guys, well, that's why I'm going to, release the results and the winner in my Instagram story at Fantasy Football Counselor. But to enter, guys, it's very, very easy. Go to pristineauction.com. Use promo code SWAGLION when you create an account. How'd you hear about us? Just say Fantasy Football Counselor. You're entered for the signed Austin Ekeler signed helmet. And also, guys, we've got other giveaways, including this Hopkins jersey we're going to give away by the end of this month. Probably early, actually the first week of January for that one. Ekeler this weekend. Tons of giveaways. Compliments of Pristine Auction. Go to pristineauction.com. Use promo code SWAGLION. And finally, use promo code SHOWERLION at Manscaped. I lost my trimmer here. Manscaped.com. Use promo code SHOWERLION. Save yourself 20%. Try their shampoo. Try their body wash. It's paraben-free. It's cruelty-free. You'll absolutely love it. Smells great. Wife likes it. I'm sure your wife will like it as well. Manscaped.com. Use promo code SHOWERLION, okay? And pristineauction.com, SWAGLION to get in on the draws, all right? Let's dive into the optimal plays at each position, week 16. I understand my guy, Najee Harris, didn't have the greatest week. I understand, sometimes it happens, but at least he's in. He's still playing, right? Unlike CMC and some other people that didn't make it this far, right? DeAndre Hopkins, another first-round pick that crapped the bed. I got Najee round 3 in most of my leagues, round 2, 3, so one bad week on the season. I got to let it slide, but I'm just so fussy and I'm so picky with my team. Got to have near perfection. It is what it is. All right, let's go to the quarterback position going into week 16. Now, understand there is a Thursday night game. If you're listening to this on the weekend, obviously fast forward past this section. But there is a Thursday night game, which I'm probably going to be watching and tuning in a little bit too. Titans versus 49ers. 8:20 p.m. Eastern time. 49ers 3-point favorite. It's going to be okay. Saturday, there's 2 games. Packers versus the Browns. Colts versus the Cardinals. Cardinals coming off a tough loss. So are the Cardinals the real deal when you lose to the Detroit Lions? I don't know. It's just weird that they lost to Detroit Lions 30-12. It wasn't even like a close game, which is really crazy. But they're playing the Colts. Redemption game. They're a 1-point favorite. Then we got the slew of Sunday games, a whole whack of those. And then Monday nighter, Miami versus the Saints. Nobody really cares. But it's a Christmas holiday anyway, so I probably won't be watching that. So, Saturday, again, 2 Christmas games. Something to keep you busy if you got nothing better to do on Christmas. But I'll be doing family time, so I probably won't be watching most of those games. I'll be tuning in, checking the scoreboard, have it in the background, but won't be fully engaged. All right, so let's go to the quarterback position here. Optimal matchups each position. Dak Prescott, arguably one of the easiest matchups versus position, playing Washington. On DraftKings, he's $6,500. You're going to pay for him, okay? Matt Stafford, $6,700, playing Minnesota. Good matchup. Russell Wilson, who's been mediocre at best this year, playing Chicago. He does have a good matchup. Joe Burrow, good matchup this week. Understand he's playing Baltimore, but he's been mediocre. 13 points last week. Safe the weeks before, 25 and 23 points consecutively. Cam Newton here, coming off a 24-point week, playing Tampa Bay. Pretty decent matchup there for you. Some other safe matchups. We got Zach Wilson, which I don't really trust, coming off a 13-point week. He's got a mid-range matchup. Matt Ryan, mid-range matchup. Tua, mid-range matchup. Jalen Hurts coming off a nice 30-point week, playing the Giants. Not bad. Jalen Hurts, mid-range matchup. Now, guys that have tough matchups that you can't sit for your championship week, but understand they've got it in tough. Josh Allen versus New England. Derek Carr. I don't trust him either, but he's got a tough matchup. Tom Brady. He's playing Carolina. Kirk Cousins versus the Rams. Not the easiest matchup. Justin Herbert, Pat Mahomes, all tough matchups versus position. Understand, Pat Mahomes playing Pittsburgh and Chargers playing, Justin Herbert playing Houston, but he should have a field day. I would still go ahead and start, both Pat Mahomes and Justin Herbert. You cannot sit them, but they don't have the easiest matchup versus the secondary there. Moving on to running back. James Robinson, coming off an 18-point game, finally comes back. The coach is gone, the bad coach, Urban Meyer. So now he's getting a little bit into the groove. He's got a good matchup versus the Jets. Definitely want to start him. Cornell Patterson coming off a terrible week last time they played, had a consistent season all around, does have a good matchup. So we're going over running backs with good matchups. And again, Cornell Patterson, good year all around, crap in the bed last week or last time he played. So very, very disappointing for a guy who's been consistent all year round. Other guys that have good matchups versus position, Larry Roundtree. And here's the thing, where's Austin? Austin Eckler's on the vid list. There he is. I heard he's not playing. So all those people that, were bugging me about Austin Eckler, how do you do now? Austin Eckler's not playing. So there you have it. I'd probably go, I think Justin Jackson's going to get some reps. Larry Roundtree should get some reps as well. Joshua Kelly, maybe. I'd fire up Larry Roundtree for DFS at $4,000. Could be a good value play. Javonte Williams here. Good matchup here as well. Check him. I think him and Melvin Gordon have been a little bit banged up, shaken up, but they should be good to go. Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, both good matchups. I like Javonte Williams. Hopefully he's the starter full-time next year. David Montgomery versus Seattle, another good matchup. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man, last week just didn't have the greatest week. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, good matchup this week. Miles Sanders coming off a 20-point week. Not bad. Good matchup. Great matchup for him, okay? Other guys that have good matchup you may want to consider is Darrell Henderson, but again, it could be a mixed bag there with Sony Michel. Sony Michel outscoring him 14 points to around 5 points to Darrell Henderson. Going to be questionable there on who's going to get more of the reps. I'd probably start Darrell Henderson if I had him, depending, what other options you have, but it's very slim at the running back position. That's why I say go robust RB. By the way, I'll be releasing the 16-round draft solution early next year. You can pre-order it. More details coming out on that. And as soon as that calendar rolls over, we're going to start talking rankings for 2020. So make sure you guys are subscribed if you are new to the channel. So Saquon Barkley does have a good matchup. I just don't like the fact that they're mixing Devin Booker in it. It's absolutely brutal. Michael Carter coming off a terrible week, relatively easy matchup this week. Guys that have it in tough at the running back position, just so you're aware. Antonio Gibson coming off a 19-point week last time. Tough matchup. Alvin Kamara, ridiculous 5-point week. Disgusting. Tough matchup, okay? Uncle Lenny, I think he's going to be out. Ronald Jones show. Ronald Jones does have a tough matchup. A lot of people ask him about Ronald Jones. 9th hardest matchup versus position. Joe Mixon coming off a crappy couple of weeks. Does have a tough matchup versus Baltimore. Josh Jacobs been safe at best the past couple weeks. Does have a relatively tough matchup, and so does Zeke Elliott. Relatively tough matchup. The 11th hardest versus position. Dalvin Cook, mid-range matchup if you guys are thinking of drafting or starting Dalvin Cook. And also Stevenson, Harris. I'm not sure if Harris is playing. He's been banged up. They're playing Buffalo. Either one of those guys, if you are starting a running back there from the Patriots, they do have it a little bit tough mid-range matchup there versus Buffalo. Okay, so there's your tough matchups, your easy matchups. Up to you guys to kind of make a decision if you're torn on certain players. But understand, guys, you want to get those volume getters. You want to start as consistent as possible, guys that get the volume, okay? So it doesn't necessarily matter the matchup. It matters, obviously it matters the volume and the opportunities. Are they going to convert into points, okay? Continuing on here, Cooper Kupp's going to be expensive for DFS if you want to start him at wide receiver. Moving on to wide receivers. Cooper Kupp, $9,100, but Mr. Consistent all year round, really. Odell Beckham Jr. could get a touchdown. Van Jefferson, either way, all three of these guys have phenomenal matchup versus Minnesota. Great matchup. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, wide receivers for the Cowboys versus Washington. Great matchup. Understand, guys, great matchup, okay? So Rams, Cowboys, wide receivers, all great. But again, you're looking at timeshare, you're looking at split volume, okay? Obviously, Cooper Kupp in year long, you want to start him, but are you going to pay $9,100 in DFS? Very expensive. There is better value. We'll go over some value here. And I like to get that value at the wide receiver position. DK Metcalf, it says he's a little banged up. Check his status before he goes. Either way, 11 points last game. He should be good to go. Either way, he's got a good matchup this week. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 24-point week last time out. Great matchup this week versus Atlanta. I might want to consider him. $5,600. There's a value play at wide receiver. Nice risk, possibly a good high return on that reward. Terry McLaurin, great matchup this week. Am I paying $6,500? Probably not. He's been playing like absolute trash. Playing Dallas, though, does have a good matchup. That works in his favor. Good matchups always helps. Now, T. Higgins, Chase, all those guys there from the Bengals, they are playing Baltimore secondary. Good matchup. Jamar Chase coming off a terrible week last time he was out. Does have a good matchup and possible bounce back coming this week. You are paying, if you start him in DFS, $7,100. Jalen Waddle coming off a terrible week last time he played. Good matchup this week. What can I tell you? Very big risk, though. Who else is there here? Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, safe matchups as well. Mid-range matchups here, we got the Chiefs. I'm not sure if Tyreek's playing. I doubt it. But Mecole Hardman could be a start this week. 3 points last week, okay? So they've got a mid-range matchup. If you look at any Chiefs wide receiver. Let me see if there's the guys that have tough matchups. Just be aware of this, that they do have a tough matchup. Jacoby Myers, New England wide receivers, got it in tough this week. Kenny Galladay has absolutely done nothing this week. Got it this year. Is tough matchup this week. Stephon Diggs coming off a pretty decent week last week. Fourth hardest versus position. Tough matchup versus New England. Just be aware of that. Antonio Brown, a lot of people saying he's going to be a league winner. Sixth hardest matchup versus position. All those people wondering about Antonio Brown. They are playing Carolina secondary. He doesn't have an easy matchup with Godwin out. Could be interesting. Could get a lot of volume there. Possibly a touchdown or two. Darnell Mooney here. Safe at best. Had a couple crappy weeks 2-3 weeks ago. Bounced back to a 12-point week. Sixth hardest matchup versus position for Darnell Mooney and the Chicago wide receivers. Tough matchup. Mr. Renfro, Mr. Consistent, had a crappy week last week. Been consistent across the board. Does have it in tough. Eighth hardest matchup versus position. And Thielen, check his status before it starts the game. If he plays, definitely worth a start. Jefferson, all these guys, Osborne, Vikings wide receivers do have it in tough against the Rams secondary. Ninth hardest matchup versus position. Just something to be aware of. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore also have a pretty tough matchup as well against Tampa Bay. And Deontay Johnson, mid-range matchup, who did absolutely nothing last week. Very, very depressing week last week for Deontay Johnson, playing Kansas City's secondary mid-range matchup there. Now, tight end, like I said, every single week, start the best possible tight end. Mark Andrews got a great matchup. Noah Fant has got a great matchup. Jared Cook, Cole Kmet, CJ Uzomah, all got great matchups this week. Pat Freiermuth has got a great matchup versus tight ends. But understand, Pat Freiermuth, guys like that, even like guys like Jared Cook, are very, very touchdown dependent. So you want to try to find guys that have been consistent, guys that are going to get the volume, not necessarily guys that are very touchdown dependent. Mind you, there is a lot of tight ends that are touchdown dependent, aside from guys like Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce, guys like that. But with tight end, start your best possible tight end. You guys know your tight end. It's week 16. If you don't know your tight end, you're in trouble, right? Gronkowski, Gesicki, just to give you some names here, Gesicki, Foster Moreau, Dawson Knox, all these guys have tough matchups. But if they're your option, start them at the tight end position, okay? Let's go on here to the best defense to start. Let's talk defenses here. A lot of people ask the best matchups for defense to stream that I like. Jets versus Jacksonville. Lions versus Atlanta could be a good defense. Bucks versus Carolina. Seattle, Chicago, Jacksonville against the Jets. So Jacksonville, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Lions, Jets. Chargers at Houston, I really like as a defense to stream this week. Bengals versus Baltimore could be good. Falcons versus Detroit could be good. I really like the Eagles versus the Giants this week. Saints versus Miami. And Broncos versus the Raiders. All good matchups to start this week if you are looking to stream. So Jets, Lions, Bucks, Jags, Chargers, Bengals, Falcons, Eagles, Saints, Broncos. And those are the ones that, there's other people here. There's some wild cards, but like you could say Patriots, but what Buffalo are you going to get? Are you going to get the Buffalo from a couple weeks ago? Did nothing, or are you going to get a good Buffalo team? So Patriots aren't really that trustworthy because Buffalo could go off. So be aware of this, guys, when you are starting and streaming a defense. Take a look at who they're playing. Take a look at that matchup, and you can make a better educated decision. Now, a couple things I missed here. I want to make a note in regards to the Saturday games. I didn't mention this because, again, I was kind of looking at the weekend games primarily. You're wondering if you should start Aaron Rodgers, mid-range matchup. Kyler Murray, mid-range matchup, okay? Carson Wentz does have a tough matchup, okay? When you're looking at the running backs, Taylor, a lot of people ask about Taylor, eighth hardest matchup versus position. He doesn't have an easy matchup this week. It's not going to be a walk in the park for Jonathan Taylor, just so you're aware, but it's Jonathan Taylor. You got to start him against Arizona, just to make a note there, okay? In regards to wide receivers here, Michael Pittman, a lot of people asking about him for starts and sits week 16. He does have an easy, favorable matchup, okay? I should have covered the Saturday games, but I forgot. I'm trying to see if there's anyone. Zach Ertz has got a good matchup against Indy. Again, volume distribution always an issue there. With Hopkins out, he could get a lot of work. So I do like Zach Ertz at tight end. Jack Doyle if you want him, but he's not very trustworthy, and he does have it in tough versus Arizona. Just something to be aware of, okay? But yeah, I would definitely start Taylor. I'd definitely start Ertz. Again, Carson Wentz, be careful. Fourth hardest matchup versus position. Aaron Rodgers, definitely must start. Mid-range matchup. And again, Kyler Murray, again, if you have him, he's been consistent as they come. Mid-range matchup for him. So hopefully this helps, guys, going over this with you in regards to this weekend, in regards to Saturday, in regards to DFS. Make sure you guys start to sit the right people, go with your gut feeling, and, take some chances if you're playing DFS lineups. Play some wide receivers like Amon or St. Brown. Looks like good value. Could have a high ceiling, like Jamar Chase coming off a bad week. Could bounce back. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Understand if they had a down week this week, they could emerge this week and have a better week. Guys like Najee Harris could have a much better week. All right, guys? Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Merry Christmas if I don't talk to you before then. Make sure you follow me on social. I will be active on social, not so much on YouTube here for the next couple days. But make sure you guys subscribe. Actually, I'm going to start doing some more shorts and stuff like that as well here on YouTube. But make sure you guys do subscribe. Thumbs up. I'm out.